And CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. I'm excited to invite you to a very special event, the Boys and Girls Club of North Mississippi's annual Dance Like the Stars Gala. It's a great time and a great event, and I can speak from experience. Several years ago, I was one of the participants, so I know you're going to enjoy this. It's happening on Saturday, July 19th at 6:30 p.m. at the Cadence Bank Arena. Visit www.bgcnms.org to get your tickets, and we'll see you at Dance Like the Stars.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Joining us tonight on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I want to make sure, is the audio okay? I think I see it. Yeah, perfect. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sorry about that. We're dealing with some stuff behind the scenes, but I wanted to make sure that you guys could hear me. I think we're all good to go. So what are we going to be discussing here in the Room to Room Weather Center? Well, there's a lot to discuss. First off, if you want an update on Alaska, the advisories have since been lifted, so hopefully that means that there's no damage about to take place and that Alaska just barely escaped this from having significant damage, but we'll know here in the next few minutes. But what we're going to be discussing here in North Mississippi is that drier air sticking around over the next at least 24 hours before that moisture moves back into the forecast. At tropical development getting closer, that's what's going to drive that dry air away, and that's what's going to change our forecast shifting into this weekend. And some of you might like it, others might not, we'll see. But how to handle the heat, we're also looking at that in a new segment that we're doing today, so we'll ask your opinion. Let us know if you guys like it, but that's coming up later on in the show, so you need to stay tuned and we can take a look at that together. But it's a lot of stuff, a lot of new, a lot of old. We've been dealing with heat for a while now, and that heat is still sticking around even into the late afternoon, early evening time frame. Let's take a look out of one of our cameras right here. You're basically seeing those dry conditions across the region in Smithville. A few of those cumulus clouds providing some brief relief from that heat, but still 94 feels like 100. It's just going to be those triple digits that we're watching even heading into the next 24 hours. Big thank you to the North Mississippi Storm Chaser for providing us this aerial look right there. And Greenville, it is as blue as it could get. My word, that is a beautiful sight. But it's also not a beautiful sight at the same time, because what it's doing is it's warming up the ground. That sunshine that is just covering the sky right now. You're seeing it warm it up from 95, feeling like 106. So that's over that heat advisory threshold, as has been the case all afternoon long. So our Mississippi Live Weather Radar coming in with a few showers over there towards northwest Alabama. That's a result of some of that moisture just trying to push into the area from that tropical system. So watching over the last couple of hours, you can see how it's basically nothing, a little bit of action down around Tuscaloosa, but as that pushes just a bit more towards the west, and I do see a boundary there that it's interacting with to help provide a little bit more of that lift. But that's what we're watching as that moves more into Alabama. That's our primary threats for rainfall. But over here in North Mississippi, staying on the drier side, not even a storm, not even a shower in the area. Whenever we say that, there's not even clouds really in the area as well. Smithville was showing the most cloud cover with a few of those cumulus clouds. Those are over and around Chickasaw, Lee, Monroe, even Itawamba County. But back where we look towards Greenville and Greenwood, that is just absolutely clear, absolutely stunning. Should be a great forecast if you're inside in the air conditioning, because outside, it just feels toasty. It feels like a microwave as you walk out the door. Still that drier air in place. And I want to show you this because it's not every day that we get this dry of a forecast. Extending things to the south, though, it shows what's moving in. And I'm going to put this on a loop here real quick to show you how that water vapor is just building into New Orleans and Baton Rouge. That's what's going to push a few of those showers and storms into North Mississippi, not really for our Thursday, but really by Friday and Saturday. Seeing that line of moisture extending just a bit north. We're talking about Meridian area as far north as that extent goes. But as that moves just a little bit more towards the west and then the northwest, talking about that track right there. That's what a lot of tracks are having it. And you can see on the right side of that storm, on the east side of that storm, getting a lot of action with a lot of rainfall. So that's pushing into our neck of the woods as we head further into the weekend. And that's what we're watching as we head further into the weekend. So over the next 12, it's just going to be a dry forecast. And we can enjoy it. We can, I promise, even though it is going to be blistering hot. 92 degrees by 7 still for a lot of locations. Isolated showers primarily going to be northwest Alabama, but the dry conditions overnight, moving into the sunny skies tomorrow morning. That's setting the scene for the sunshine to warm us up yet again, and heat advisories once again on the table for our area heading into our forecast for Thursday. So looking at that low pressure center, again with this interaction of flow, and I'm going to draw this real quick to show you, we have this counterclockwise motion around the low. We also have this clockwise motion around the high. So whenever we look towards, what's to the north? Well, towards the north is a lot of that continental air, that frontal boundary keeping a lot of the moisture up and around Kansas and Missouri. So this drier air that we've been talking about, and I'll write it out once again because that is the name of the game. Once again, it's flowing into our area, and that's what's feeding into our forecast. That drier pattern, not something we typically see, but we've seen it a lot the past couple of days, and we're enjoying it to an extent because it's also providing a lot of those hot temperatures. But once we head into the weekend, this low transitions a little bit more up the Mississippi River and will cool us off with that rain-cooled air. So something to look forward to despite it being a rainy forecast. You can see a lot of that moisture remaining out there in the Gulf and associated with previous frontal boundaries, new frontal boundaries that are pushing in. That's really where all the action is going to take place. So here in North Mississippi, staying on the drier side. A few of those showers and storms popping up around Tennessee, but will reach as far south as northwest Alabama, Florence area, not really going to reach into North Mississippi. That's those 10% that we were talking about. But as we head further into the evening, that line tries to progress a little bit more, but really stays towards the north and east and builds more towards the northeast as we head further into the overnight hours. That low continues to cycle more and more, and as it's in the Gulf, it is strengthening, but we don't expect it to be a major storm rolling into New Orleans that will affect us later. It's really just going to be your typical low pressure system with a lot of rainfall. So as we head further into the night, we're talking about early hours of our Thursday, waking up and heading out the door to dry conditions. But that low by Thursday morning, mid to late morning is when it's making landfall, and that's when we'll see that move more northwest into the Mississippi River, thus affecting us a bit more late Thursday, early Friday. So we'll watch that forecast here in just a few moments, but this is basically the extent of what we'll see for the start of our Thursday. Over the next 24, we don't have rain chances for our morning commute. That's a great sign, but look at how much sunshine we'll have mid to late afternoon or mid to early afternoon. Just continuing to see those clouds go away, the sunshine pick up, and that's where it's going to just warm us up nicely, mid-90s by the afternoon. With feels like values, we're talking about triple digits. We're talking about some places around 105 to 110. So a time where we need to stay hydrated and stay indoors in the air conditioning. That might be your best choice as we head into the forecast tomorrow. But we'll talk more detail about that temperature forecast and also talk more details about that tropical system coming up in the next 60. And again, I mentioned we did talk about a certain way to handle the heat, and all of that will come up here on Mississippi Live Weather right here in the next minute.
I was made for this, crawling through the muck to find where the real problems hide.
All this dampness, it's perfect for mold. And that can mean headaches, rashes, even chronic illness for your family.
That's why we offer our Healthy Home 7-point mold inspection to restore your health by restoring your home.
Focusing on water and mold control from the crawl space to the roof, you can call Absolute Restoration, your local and trusted restoration contractor.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, it's the golden debate, hot and dry or cooler and rainy. Which one would you prefer? I'm going to put a poll up later because I feel like that needs to get some attention. And we'll air that tonight at 10 because it is what's happening right now. You have those rainy, cooler conditions down around the coast, but up here in North Mississippi, we're talking about hot, dry conditions. So which one would you rather have? Well, I'll put a poll up later, so make sure to check out my Facebook later on today. But over the past 24 hours, you can see that swath of moisture that's sticking around those coastal regions. I know a lot of people are down in Panama City. They submitted some pictures yesterday. I'm sorry about the forecast with how rainy it's been over the past 24 hours. But as that transitions more into the Gulf, I do expect that to take a few of those showers away with it. So maybe over the next couple of days, drying up just a bit for any of those Florida coastal regions. For the past 24 hours here, not too much. A few isolated showers over and around the Mississippi River. This was actually last night that those happened. And we're getting some activity over in northwest Alabama, Florence area, University of North Alabama. Know anyone that's up there right now, let them know, hey, there's a little shower headed your way. But more than likely, they probably already know about it, and there's nothing to be concerned with because those showers very short-lived. And when we're talking about rainfall totals, I mean, half an inch here, half an inch there, that's just going to be those brief, heavy moments of rainfall, but we've not gotten that throughout our afternoon, at least not here in North Mississippi. Northwest Alabama, Russellville, Florence, basically that entire area of Northwest Alabama is taking all of that. And you're seeing this boundary develop, and that has really gotten prominent over the past couple of scans. So folks in Noxubee and especially Pickens County getting those showers right now. So Aliceville, Gordo over there towards Reform, going to build just a bit more north on that outflow boundary. And we could see a few more showers develop as we head into the overnight hours. So that's that 10% we were talking about. 10% definitely making its mark as we head into that forecast into the overnight. But taking a look at that forecast, 85 by 9, 80 by midnight, and 78 closer to 3. That is not nearly as cool as it was yesterday. And I'm talking about cool temperature-wise, but it's also not cool as in like popularity-wise, because that is just a miserable forecast with how hot it's going to be tomorrow morning. Wednesday evening, again, this is just those isolated pop-up thunderstorms that we're seeing develop with one of those outflow boundaries that are really popping up around Pickens, Lamar, and Marion County there in Alabama. But by the time we get into the overnight hours, basically everything dries up. A lot of that moisture that you're seeing up there in the northeast portion of Mississippi, not going to reach this far southwest because it's just going to be the uphill battle of battling these dry conditions. And I don't see maybe a few isolated showers, and that is definitely possible with how heavy these are coming in. A few isolated showers in Tishomingo and way up there towards Florence, Alabama. But that's the extent that I would take the moisture just because of how dry it is here in North Mississippi. Overnight, though, once those showers clear out, we're staying dry for the extent of our Wednesday evening and even into Thursday morning. So waking up, heading out the door, where you're getting that moisture in play, it's going to make it, honestly, let me backtrack. Where that moisture is, which is right over here in North Mississippi, not rainfall-wise, but just in the air, it's keeping those temperatures at bay big time. And we're talking about not cooling off to what it should be, mid to upper 70s possible for the start of our Thursday. So already starting off on the warm side, and it only gets worse from there. I mean, taking a look mid to late morning, the cloud cover builds just a bit more, causing those heat indices to be even higher because heat indices is putting together the temperature as well as the mugginess, putting those two together, and that's your heat index. So that's why those read so much higher than the actual temperatures, because all that mugginess in the air just makes it feel even worse down here in Mississippi. So by lunchtime, that moisture really starting to build with some high-end cirrus clouds, and by early afternoon, that's really the extent of what we'll see high up in the sky. Mid to late afternoon, we could see a few isolated showers try to pop up, but again, that's just a bit of an uphill battle similar to what we've been seeing just because it's a very similar forecast to what we're seeing even for Wednesday. So forecasted rainfall for tomorrow, showing a few of those outputs. This is what it needs to be on. I don't know why it's looping right now. Well, the more you know. So forecasted rainfall, it's actually this graphic. So let's stay on this. And that's going to be anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to maybe 1/4 of an inch at times, just where those storms pop up. Going to be some brief heavy rainfall. High temperatures for your Thursday, mid to upper 90s expected across the region. 98 Greenwood and Greenville. The same areas we've been highlighting continue to be the same areas we highlight into the next couple of days. Those heat indices, though, much warmer. And we're talking about 109 Cleveland, 110 Tunica, and there's your golden number that you've been looking at for a while on your screen, 114 coming in Clarksdale. So with that number, we're talking about excessive heat warnings being a realistic possibility for the Mississippi Delta. The first excessive heat warnings, I believe, for Mississippi for the year. So that's kind of just showing you that we're in that July forecast and it's going to take over one way or another. And we just got to be prepared for it by staying hydrated and staying cool. And staying cool with air conditioning, staying inside, viewing it from there. So Thursday evening, those showers continue to populate, but they are going to be very brief and very isolated. So still a mostly dry forecast for our Thursday. And overnight into our Friday, that moisture starts to build a little bit more from the Gulf. And you're seeing extensive cloud cover for the start of the day. And by the late morning, early afternoon, that's where those showers really start to kick up. A few of those on the heavier side with heavy rainfall and a little bit of lightning as well. By the time we get towards 1, 2, 3 o'clock, that's where we can see those isolated thunderstorms developing, especially just across North Mississippi. You can see how extensive this coverage is compared to what we'll see Thursday and even compared to what we saw today. That's that low pressure center building a little bit more north, and it's going to be providing us that moisture for some showers and storms for our Friday. We're looking at 40 to 50% coverage for that day, and some pretty decent rainfall totals as well as we take a look at that rainfall totals right here. So 1/4 of an inch for a lot of locations. You can see across, this will vary because it's not going to be in that primary location, but basically across North Mississippi, this is a realistic possibility of how much rainfall to see. And honestly, a good bit of us will be getting those rainfall totals, but forecasted rainfall over the next 5 days, I'm going to have to figure out why it's doing this jumping pattern, but forecasted rainfall over the next 5 days shows a large portion south of Highway 82 getting anywhere from a 1/2 inch to an inch. So it's going to be an active system as it pushes in from the Gulf, but once it pushes more north, we're not seeing as much impacts with a lot of that rainfall being on the lighter end with less thunderstorm coverage. So that's a good thing, but it's still meaningful rainfall at the end of the day, and it'll cool us off a good bit too. So Friday with that rainfall, 92 degrees is what we have for high temperatures. Saturday and Sunday coming in with 91. And by the time we get towards Monday, all that moisture fizzles on out, and then we get to enjoy the hot and dry forecast once again. So that give and take forecast, those are your two options, hot and dry or wet and cooler. And so we'll put that poll up here in just a few moments, but I do want to say, stick with us after the break. We have a way that you can handle the heat, especially towards tomorrow morning, enjoy the dry conditions while also staying cool in the process. So stay with us in the next 60. We'll also go through more on the tropical system and more on that heat coming up, like I said, in the next minute.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/act now.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Finally a dry day in North Mississippi. That means we can finally get those chores done that we've been putting off, right? Well, not exactly. See, by 10 a.m., the temperatures were already reaching into the low 90s, with feels-like values surpassing 100 degrees. And the day just started. So those chores can still get done. However, there's a certain time to get them done. See, the sun comes up at about 5:55 in the morning, and the temperatures are in the mid-70s. Not too bad. So the prime time frame to get things done is from about 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., or else you'll be struggling in this heat, like me.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Okay, so I apologize. I believe there's audio now. Is it showing up? Okay, perfect. So yeah, I apologize for that. We'll get that handled behind the scenes, but I do want to say that once we got done, or once I was mowing, My wife did take care of me, and she brought me 2 Gator Lights, which is like an electrolyte drink, to replenish those and keep me hydrated. So shout out to her for taking care of me. But that's one of the ways we can stay prepared is by doing it early on in the day. Just make sure to even stay hydrated if you're doing it at 6 a.m. But especially if it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Honestly, 3 o'clock, just let's plan on staying indoors because of how hot it will be outside, especially with tomorrow's forecast. One of the reasons why we wanted to show you this is because with tomorrow's forecast, it's continuing to stay dry. So a lot of those outdoor activities can get done. Just make sure if you're doing so, do it early on in the day. Heat advisories in effect for a lot of the area, with a few areas talking about some excessive heat warnings possibly being issued. So prepare, hydration. I'm going to say it over and over again until we all do it, but also staying cool in the process. Temperatures right now reading in the mid 90s for a lot of us, 97 Houston, 96 Bruce, 93 there towards Oxford. So a lot of locations, all of the locations still in the 90s, except for Iuka coming in with 89. But heat indices, all of us coming in with the triple digits, and a lot of us still over that heat advisory threshold. Greenwood, Greenville, over towards Tunica. Let's see, anyone else at 105? Amory, 109, and then Columbus with 106. So even at 6 o'clock in the evening, we're talking about heat advisory level heat indices. So it's a time where we need to stay hydrated even at 6 p.m. That's why I said 6 to 10 a.m. Even in the evening when that sun is still out, it's still going to be hot. But looking at that tropics, that's another big story as we head into the next 24 to 48 hours. That 40% chance of development is still there, but honestly, this is a bit far-fetched. We were talking behind the scenes about, do we think it's going to develop into anything tropical? It could reach a tropical depression, but that's even a bit of a stretch. So that shows that it's been riding that Florida coast, staying in a high shear environment, not building in strength. And so that's been an enjoyable forecast for us as we've stayed on the drier side, and hopefully we'll continue to stay on the drier side even into our Thursday afternoon. Looking at that spaghetti plot, we've been talking about it basically riding up the Mississippi River. That's where a lot of models have it. There are some models that are a bit of outliers and go right over the top of North Mississippi. I really think it's going to drive that same forecast up into Louisiana and Arkansas, where a lot of our moisture will come from the east side of the storm, where we'll get a lot of bands of moisture and even some wind gusts coming in with 20 to 30 miles an hour. So paying a lot of attention to that, but it's just basically going to be that active pattern. Even our Saharan dust, not showing a lot of Saharan dust infiltrating this storm, so we really got lucky that it did not go deeper into the Gulf, because if it did, it was a primed environment to build in strength, and that's where we were pushing it so much yesterday. Not the case this evening. A much better forecast for it, and for us, because that means that we're not going to see a high impact event from this storm. Even as it pushes there into North Mississippi, you can see that those drier, not the drier air, but the clearer air that it needs to continue to develop is still there. So we'll continue to see rainfall as it moves into Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. And then on the back end of this, that Saharan dust builds in, and that's going to block really any development beyond that point until the dust clears, and then we'll see our next storm. Of course, that's how it goes. It's this time of year. But for today, we're not seeing rainfall, maybe a few isolated showers back towards northwest Alabama, but really staying on the drier side. And so it's an enjoyable forecast. If you need to get anything done, it's important to take the necessary precautions and stay safe in that process. I do want to say, with what we aired today, it was the first time we've done something like that, and I did enjoy filming it for you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it and got a kick out of that lawnmower, because it's the most frustrating thing ever, my wife knows. And probably everyone I talk to about it. But we want to do something like this. I would like to do something like this at least once a week, just walking you through how to beat the heat, handle the heat, or basically just different weather stories that we can do once a week. Take you outside the studio, see out in the field, and things like that. So if you want some more like that, let us know in the comments. We'd love to do some more of those lifestyle type stories that is weather applied in the field, and we'll be happy to do that for you. And if you have any ideas for it, let us know. We'd love to incorporate that as well. So let us know down in the comments. Let us know any questions that you guys may have. And of course, thank you so much again for joining us tonight in Mississippi Live Weather. We'll be back here tonight at 10, and I'm taking a step off screen, so I gotta fix this show real quick. But we'll be back here tonight at Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Walking you through the latest on this tropical storm, and also the way that we can, or how we're going to beat the heat heading into tomorrow. So all of that coming up tonight at 10. We'll see you then, but for now, have a great night.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.